One of the pressing needs that I think every human heart is asking is there a good and true story? Is there a story that makes sense of my life, that gives me meaning, gives me purpose, gives me an identity, that actually reveals my true name, right? I think we're all after this question, who am I? What is my true name? And that's what I love about the gospel story. If you think about the gospel story, one helpful way to think about it is that it's tragedy, comedy, and fairy story, right? The tragedy is the fall of man, that we've sinned, that we've gone our own way. Comedy, properly understood, is like the unforeseen. Like, who would have foreseen that God's answer to man's tragedy is the incarnation, right? Jesus becoming like us. And then there's the tragedy of the crucifixion and the divine comedy of the resurrection, right? Who would have foreseen that Jesus rose from the dead? And then there's this sort of fairy tale ending where you have this sudden turn, where suddenly all things are made right, right? The ending of the story is one of, one day we will all know our true names. And so I think that's sort of at the gut level of everyone in culture. Is there a story in which I can find and discover my true name? And what's so interesting, if you enter into the gospel story, what we learn is that we can't name ourselves, right? Even think of in the Great Commission that we're being baptized into the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. And that baptism event is a naming event, right? We discover who we are. And what we discover is that we are the beloved, like this is our true name. And that's the story that I think we all long for. And so part of what we want to do is awaken people's longing to that.